everybody, it's Dreamy. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make music like Trust. To go along this video, you get the full template, the whole samples, MIDI, presets, project file, everything from this video is available at the top of the description on my website. Definitely go grab that, it really helps support me so I can keep bringing you guys new videos like this every single day. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started. Alright, so we're at 92 BPM, a little bit more chill. First thing we got up here is the drums. Starting with this kick, you'll notice this is not like your usual kind of, I'll turn off the group processing, your usual sort of kick, right? You know, it's almost a little bit shorter, a little bit thinner, but the point is that it just works really well in this mix. And obviously you can hear it's right up on top, and then it still cuts through. So it's like, it doesn't always have to be these insane 909 drums and stuff that are just like engineered to destroy the room, you know. It could just be a nice punchy kick that fits as well. We've also got this sort of gated snare. So it's two layers. We got tracks clap, like Lindrum drum tracks, and then we got this gated snare. So what is the gated snare? Essentially it's a snare. First of all, you need a snare like this that's very like right, and then what you're gonna do is put a bit of reverb on it, which is already pretty short, but then I added this gate. And then you can hear it cuts off the reverb, and then I distorted it a little, which just helps bring it out. And then we got this, just a nice closed hi-hat from a 909 ride, like a live ride cymbal. And then on the group, so I have it turned off right now, but as you can see, we got a little drum bus. Now this is adding a lot because I've got the crunch all the way up, and the compression really makes it, you know, very full and brings up the level. The only thing is it's on 12%, so you're not even hearing that much of it, but it does add a lot, right? So then we have our bass line. So this is a pretty simple pattern because all it is it's just the note that we're playing and then an octave up, and then it's like 16th notes. But what it's doing is it's doing this progression from C sharp major to F minor to D sharp major, right? And then it hangs on the D sharp. And then it resolves again, and it's really nice, right? So this is a pretty popular progression for tracks like this. I've seen a lot of that. Again, it's really just giving it that rhythm with the 16th notes. For the actual patch, we're using wavetable to get some nice unison stuff. I've got a square wave and then a saw wave, which you can see are an octave apart. And then, yeah, we got an envelope on this filter here. Bit of classic unison, some overdrive. You can see the amp again, it's only at a little bit, but it's adding a lot of flavor to this. And then we're converting the bass to mono because the unison can mess that up sometimes. Then we have our pad. So this is playing those chords that I showed you before. What we're doing is we got root note, fifth, and then the third up an octave, right? Normally, you do that. But see, when you spread it out like that, the chords sound more epic. And then what it is it's two layers. It's this analog, and then this operator. And let's go ahead and turn off the group processing. So I'll start with analog. What analog is doing is sort of like this big, I guess you could call it like the pad part. You know, it's creating like these strings. It's just two detuned saw waves at the same octave with a bunch of unison just to kind of lay a foundation. And then we have a short envelope. It's not just like a long held out, you know. Then we have this operator. So there's the dry patch. So what we're doing here is we're creating this sort of like Rhodes E-piano type of thing using FM. FM is really good for this. You could also kind of call this like an organ or something, right? But essentially what you can do is you can just use sine waves and have them all at different octaves. And you don't turn them up too much, right? Like if I start going, right, you kind of lose it. You just turn it up to the point where you can hear it. but it's not like so in your face aggressive like that. We got the chorus, a little bit of echo, reverb, and then a high pass, and you just get this nice glassy sort of top. So when they lay together like that, we got a bit of echo on the group, a bit of reverb, which also kind of helps glue them together, right? And then we're cutting out the low end and then boosting the highs a little bit. So then we got this little arp. So this is in the key of F minor, which you could essentially like this chord here, right? We're playing this F minor scale sort of thing. Like we're using the 5th and the 7th actually, and then down here the 3rd and the 9th. The root note will be right there. So you can kind of see how this all relates to the scale. And then by having that play, it's in the scale, but it's not just following the notes that like the bass is playing. You can really easily use the scale to create like this whole other musical element to the track that really brings it to life. So what I got here for the sound is analog. I'll turn off all the effects so you can just hear it. So what we're doing here is we got a saw wave and then another saw wave, same octave, going into a low pass filter with a nice punchy envelope on it. The amp envelope looks like that. We got some vibrato, and then we're using this unison here. I have it on the 2 voices, but there's this delay. So if I turn that off, so what it's doing is it's playing the second voice 86 milliseconds after the first one. So you get a really cool effect, right? That's why it kind of sounds like it has some delay or something, even though it doesn't. Then we got a little bit of hybrid reverb. I use this Ableton Studio backwards. A bit of pedal, which honestly kind of cuts out some highs, which works because you don't really need a whole lot of high end since you already have this. Then limiter, which obviously you can see it's not clipping. I'm just using the limiter to push this up and kind of like pull out the reverb and make it feel really like fat, right? So then we got a high pass filter. And then the last thing we have down here is this organ. So this is another example of just playing something in key that's not the exact same chord progression, that's just adding to it. Like if I play this with the chords. Right, so you can use these same scales to create a very powerful musical sort of like palette to work with here. What we're doing is it's the 5th, the root note, the 9th, the 3rd, and then another 5th, and then a 7th up here. So all voices I used before, that's the other thing. I try to just pick a few voices in the scale and use those to create all these different elements rather than, you know, just using every note in the scale. It keeps it more cohesive. For this, I'm using this organ sound here. We got a little bit of pedal. Here's without that. And with it. You can hear it's a great way to make it sound kind of lo-fi because it's got the crunch and it kind of takes out some high end. A little bit of reverb, high pass. And the last thing here is the Haas effect. I used to talk about this a lot. It's just essentially spreading the sound into the left and right signal. And then the right ear. You can do either one, but in this case it's the right. The right ear is delayed 10 milliseconds after the left ear. And you can see it makes it really wide, but what it also helps is it really is going to set this in a different place in the mix, so it'll blend better with everything else. Right, if I turn that off, it kind of gets buried a little bit more. So this is a good way to kind of set something in the mix aside. Usually you want to do it with something like this that's in the high end. So there it is. You can see it's kind of like Synthwave. There's a lot of similar techniques, but it's kind of taking it into the future and also maybe making something unique. I think with a lot of Synthwave, that stuff gets really repetitive. A lot of people are just kind of doing the same thing. You know, this guy actually did something unique that's different that no one else does. So that's me for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, the entire thing. It's available at the top of the description on my website. Make sure to go grab that. Thanks for the support, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.